Hello again, Jay here. I'm going to go through some recommendations and modifications for some kids' workouts this week. We're going to have a look at Tuesday's workout, the 7th of September, and that'll be 7x1 front squats. Now, this is a heavy day. We wouldn't go near a heavy day with our children. They don't need to be maximal loading, as we spoke about last week. And also, we want to keep them moving a little bit more. You know, the children will develop strength not through maximal loading, but from developing an awareness of good position and good mechanics. So what we'll find is quite often with our private track linchpin workouts is the limited equipment and also the no equipment options lend themselves really well to our CrossFit Kids workouts. So you'll see common themes between those and lots of our kids workouts. So the three options we have today are all very, very similar. For our advanced kids, we've got a 50-meter dumbbell walking lunge. We've got a 25 dumbbell front squats, and then we'll finish off again with a 50-meter dumbbell walking lunge. Now, the children that are doing this workout earned the right to be loaded. They've shown good mechanics with the front squat unloaded, and they've got a good awareness of how to lunge, maintaining their hip and shoulder in line as they're stepping through the lunge. And we're going to give them some load, and instead of it being in a front rack, we're just going to get them to hold it down by their sides. I really like the lunge for children, but just because of its functionality in the start position of a race, or in many sports that they might come across, the start position in rugby or in American football, or in any dynamic sport, to be quite honest with you. Also, I really like its functionality when the children are picking things up from the floor. You know, they're often going to get themselves down into a lunge position. And if you ever look at children playing on the floor, they will also be quite often in a lunge position, and they'll step up from that lunge. So I really like the functionality of lunges for children. And remember, the children need to have earned the right to become loaded with a workout like this. Now, this isn't a long workout, but we are deliberately focusing on slow movements, excellent mechanics throughout. This is a deliberately slow workout. So each step is going to be performed as virtuous as possible. Each squat is going to be as virtuous as possible. And that's in all three of our options that we have today. So to recap, our advanced kids will be doing a 50-meter dumbbell walking lunge with the dumbbells down by their sides. They'll be doing a dumbbell front squat, and they'll also be finishing off with a dumbbell walking lunge, really focusing on deliberate movements and good mechanics throughout. Now, for our less experienced athletes, our less experienced children, I've given them the same number of reps, but I've broken it down into 5 rounds, and that is just to give them some more rest. With our advanced kids, 25 reps in a row is quite a lot for children to do in a row, but they're at a stage where they're constantly having to think about maintaining mechanics for a period of time. Whereas with our less experienced athletes, we want to break that up for them. So they're going to do 5 rounds of a 10-meter walking lunge, unloaded, and then they're going to do an unloaded front squat. And we're going to show you what that looks like with a video. Now, for our no equipment, you've got 2 options. You can do the same as the less experienced option, where we've got that 5 rounds of 10-meter walking lunge and then 5 unloaded front squats. Or we can do an unloaded version of the advanced kids. So again, 50-meter walking lunge, which would be unloaded. 25 unloaded front squats, really drumming in, really focusing in on those good mechanics. And also a 50-meter walking lunge to finish off with there. Now, because these are quite short workouts, when we have a workout like this, it's a really good opportunity for us to put in some skill development or strength development at the end of our workout, a bit like a cash out we would have for our grown-ups. For today's, I'm going to stick with the theme of developing that grip strength that we looked at last week with the bar hanging side to sides and the bar hanging round the worlds. If you've got no equipment, your best option would probably be the max plank hold. You'll be very surprised at how long some of our young children can hold a max plank for. The second option would be a max dead hang, thumbs around the bar, feet together, which we'll have a video showing you that. And also our third option, looking back at that bar hanging around the world, just a max effort, how many times around on those bar hanging around the world. Okay, I've got Jonah here. He's going to help demonstrate the dumbbell walking lunge for our advanced kids workout. I'm going to ask him to safely pick up the 2 dumbbells. So for our walking lunge, we're going to keep the dumbbells by our side. Now the stance that we want for our walking lunge is going to be shoulder width apart, just like our squat. That's going to give us a good, steady, solid base as we're stepping through our lunges. So can you just make sure your feet are shoulder width apart, Jonah? Jonah's going to step forward with one leg. He's going to put his back knee on the floor. Now he's going to make sure that his shoulder, hip and knee are in line at the bottom of the lunge. Then he's going to bring his back leg forward as he stands up, back to his front foot. And then he's going to step forward with the opposite foot. Back knee on the floor, hip, shoulder in line. And then he's going to step up, bring his foot to meet the foot at the front. Dumbbells down for me, please, Jonah. That was excellent, great job. Okay, our second movement is going to be our dumbbell front squat. Now, this again is for our advanced kids option, and the children earn the right to use dumbbells because they've demonstrated really good mechanics with an unloaded air squat and then subsequently an unloaded front squat. So I'm going to get Jonah to pick up his dumbbells. He's going to place them in the front rack, keeping his elbows nice and high. He's going to make sure his feet are shoulder width apart. Now, keeping his elbows high, Jonah's going to initiate the squat by sending his hips back, and then he's going to get his pockets below his knees, keeping his knees tucking his toes. Then he's going to stand all the way up to full extension. Jonah, can you show me 3 reps in a row, please? Great job. Elbows up a touch for me. Good boy. Excellent. I like the way you lifted your elbows up. Fantastic. Great job. We've got Ava here. She's going to take us through the unloaded walking lunge. That's going to be for our less experienced athletes and for our athletes that are doing the no equipment option. So often with our less experienced athletes, they'll need a reference point to get their feet in the right position. So I'm going to show you how we do that for both the squat and the lunge because it's the same setup. So I'm going to get Ava to put her thumbs in the air. She's going to put her thumbs on her shoulders, and then she's going to line her feet up under her thumbs. Great, this is the start position for her squat and her lunge, but she's going to maintain this stance, this width, throughout the movement. For the lunge, she's going to have her hands by her sides. Great. Now, Ava's going to take a slow step forwards with one of her feet, and she's going to pause for me. Now, when she's lunging, she's going to slowly come down with her back leg and gently touch the floor of her knee, and then she's going to bring her back leg forward to the front foot. So go through that again. She's going to step forward with the other foot. She's going to slowly touch the floor of her back knee, and then she's going to bring her back foot forwards to meet her front foot. And then she's going to do one more step. This leg goes forward, slowly touches the floor with her back knee, brings her back foot forwards. Excellent job, well done. Okay, we've got Ava here. She's going to help take us through our unloaded front squat. Now, when we're doing an unloaded front squat, the children will already hopefully have an awareness of the air squat. So that you've got a reference point for their stance, where they start, where they go and where they finish, because we're building on those points of performance from before. So Ava's going to get herself into the right position. So I'm going to ask her to put her thumbs up in the air. She's going to put her thumbs on her shoulders. She's going to line her feet up to get her feet in the right position. Now, if you notice, Ava's elbows are already in a really, really great front rack position. These are her lasers. And just up on the ceiling at the top there are some aliens. While Ava's squatting, she's going to keep shooting her lasers at those aliens, keeping them high up for me. Okay, she's going to start the movement by sending her hips back. And then she's going to put her pockets below her knees. And then she's keeping those lasers really high. She's going to stand all the way up. And now she's going to do 2 more for me. And she's going to keep those lasers shooting high. And she's going to stand all the way up. And 1 more for me. Hips back. And stand all the way up. Excellent. Well done. Fantastic. So our first option for our optional extra is going to be a max plank hold. Now it's going to be at the top of the push-up position. So to get in that position, I'm going to ask Ava to make sure her hands are underneath her shoulders. And I'm going to ask her to come up to the top of the push-up any way she can. And now in that position, she's going to keep her feet together. She's going to push her back up into mine. Hand, push it back up into my hand. Good, she's got that nice hollow position and she's keeping her shoulder, her hip and her ankle in a nice hollow position there. And she's going to maintain that for as long as she can. And relax there for me, Ava. Excellent, good job, well done. Our second option for our optional extra work that the children can do is going to be a max dead hang. So Jonah's going to get up onto the bar. Now remember those things that I said last week? Whenever we're getting our children to hang from a bar, we don't want them to be more than 12 to 6 inches from the floor so they can come down safely on their own. Now, our bar's not too high, so Jonah can quite easily jump up. So he's going to jump up for me. He's going to come into the middle. He's making sure that his grip has his thumbs around the bar. His feet are together. And for that second option, that cash out, he's going to do a max dead hang. I'm going to give him just a 10 seconds there. Great job, Jonah. And just come down for me. Well done. Our third option for our optional cash out is going to be a bar hanging around the world. And that's going to be a max effort number of reps. I'm just going to get Jonah to demonstrate that bar hanging around the world for you again. So he's going to step up and he's going to come onto the bar. He's going to make sure his thumbs around the bar, his feet are together. And then he's going to take one hand round to one side. He'll turn around the other hand. And then he'll take the first hand back round, taking him back to the start position. And then for this option here, we're looking for how many repetitions the children can do without falling off. Great job. Come down for me. Thank you. Okay, just to summarise really, we've got 3 options here where our main focus all the time with our children's workouts is going to be their mechanics and their movement. But especially today where you might be tempted to give your child an implement to load, really consider whether that's the right option. Consider whether, how much experience they have. Have they developed the awareness and mechanics of the air squat and then the unloaded front squat? If they have, by all means load them up. But if they haven't, keep them unloaded. The one thing we do have with our children is we've got time. And in time, I mean, we have years with the children. They can be developing an awareness and refining their mechanics for years and years before we load them up. But when they have earned the right and they're showing good mechanics, absolutely give them that reward of some load. It's absolutely appropriate to load them if they've got sound mechanics. Have fun with these today, and you'll be surprised at some of the times that your children set on these optional extras if you give those a go. Have a great time, guys.